Hi everyone, it is Olivia. I hope you're doing well. I am just now getting these worksheets out to you guys because one, life, which I know you guys can all understand and attest to. Coming back from Alt Summit was amazing, and I think we've all started to come down from our alt high and back to reality, back to life. I won't start singing for you guys, but just trying to juggle it all. But I definitely wanted to make sure I connected with everyone, especially those who wanted to come to my mini brand audit makeovers and wasn't able to, and for those who did, as kind of a refresher of what we talked about. So here are the worksheets. I wanted to create this quick video to go over them so that you could understand where I was coming from and how to use them instead of just handing them over, so you guys could just kind of look at them and say, what was she thinking? Where is she going with this? So the first one just gets you thinking about your brand with regard to your skin, your eyes, and your lips. So what you want to do with this one is you print both these out, is right at the top of it, your name or your brand name, your blog name, etc. And then for skin, think about being comfortable in the skin you're in. I think we use the word authenticity so much. I love the word, and it's really the basis for everything that I do with regard to personal branding and brand strategy. But I think sometimes talk about being authentic, and then we kind of miss the boat because we go to places like Alt Summit and other conferences and things like that, and we start to look at everyone else's brand and compare ourselves. It's so natural, especially as women, it's natural that we do that. But I really want you to think about what makes you unique, what makes you different, what makes you one of a kind, what is truly in your DNA that sets you apart. When I talk to clients, when I speak, I am always talking about this notion of when you're authentically yourself, your brand has no competition because there is no other you out there in this entire world. There are hundreds and thousands of other bloggers, and there's hundreds and thousands of other branding experts out there, but no one is me, no one is you. So when we can tap into our DNA, what that really means, those could be quirky things. They could be, it's not always the shining positive things, but even maybe your downfalls or the things that you feel are really silly or unique about yourself. Sometimes we have to ask other people and get this outside perspective from friends, family, people we associate with to find out what those things are. But being comfortable in the skin we're in, and then just flaunting our skin, showing a little skin. I have an entire blog post that basically says get naked. So when you're blogging, making sure that you are being vulnerable in a place where you're showing a little skin, showing a little shoulder, a little leg here and there, but in a way that you are comfortable. So we don't have to bear it all, but making sure that we are letting people into the true you. The next one is eyes. This is the vision. What is the vision for your brand, for your blog, and for your business? We have to set aside time to really figure out what that vision is, because if we don't know where point B is, we're never going to be able to get there. We can never say we've made it, or we can't point ourselves in the right direction if we don't know where we want to go. So making sure that we map that out. And then just really right on this worksheet, talking about the strategy to get there. So we want to go from point A, which is where we are now, to point B. This is the vision that we've set out for ourselves and our brand. What is then that strategy to get there? And really mapping that out. The Bible says that where there's no vision, the people perish. And I truly believe that. I've launched quite a few businesses and have seen and worked with a lot of different entrepreneurs. And in times when a business fails, and I hate even to say that, when a business ends, shuts down, it's like a phase in a season, like a relationship in our lives, it's not because it wasn't a good idea. And it's not because that entrepreneur wasn't smart, but a lot of times it's because we lacked vision, or we saw where we wanted to go. We never created a concrete strategy to get there. So that's what that section is, for you to write out a quick vision for where you want to go. And then that last part on this first sheet are the lips. This is your brand message. So making sure that you're speaking it out, you're speaking what your vision is, where you want to go, and that you have brand messaging. There are certain brand words and brand terms. If you think about a big brand name, huge brands that set out to create a very strict brand identity and brand messaging, and we'll talk about a couple in a minute, but Coca-Cola, for example, they literally have brand words that are set out in a document. These are the words that Coca-Cola uses in conversation with their consumers on social media, in advertising, on TV commercials. So start to think about those words that you use a lot and that really exemplify who you are as a person, what you're doing as a blog, who your target audience is, what words are you using, so that you can be consistent and start to use those and then exude that. So everything that comes out of your mouth is on brand and is really who you are, going back to your authentic self. The other thing that I truly believe in is speaking life into your business. So when I open my mouth, making sure that I am positive, and I am not 100% positive all the time, but trying to make sure that what I say that's good about myself, about my brand, about my blog, about my business, where I want to be, outweighs the negative. So my not getting that many followers, I have a writer's block and I can't write. My blogging is horrible right now. All this stuff. I know we can all relate. But flip that around to speak life and to speak out what you need as a businesswoman, as a blogger, and what you want. So I even put this into my elevator pitch. So at Alt, we met tons and tons of amazing people. And the big question is, what do you do? Or what's your blog? And making sure that at the end of that, you could say, I'm Olivia Omega, and I help creative women establish their brand and execute it both online and offline. And I am looking for ways to connect with more health and wellness coaches, for example. Just kind of made that up. But tacking on, what are you looking for? What do you want more of? Because as you start to speak that, you never know who you're in front of, who you're talking to, that actually may have that connection for you. Or at one point in time, a couple years ago, I decided at the beginning of the year that I wanted to travel once per quarter and speak at different large conferences. And so I started to put that out. When people are like, how's business? How's your blog? What's going on? What are you doing? I would always end up saying, and my goal this year is to travel every 3 months to talk about branding to women entrepreneurs. And as I started to speak that, those opportunities just fell into place. So that is the first sheet. The second sheet, again, make sure you print this out. You want to put your name, your blog, or your business at the top. On the left-hand side, you'll see your blog's brand anatomy, and this just comes from the book that I launched a couple years ago now, Beautifully Branded, and goes through the anatomy of the woman entrepreneur and how that relates to our brand. So each element, the head is really your strategy. Your heart, which is so important, is your why and your values, and so on and so forth. So just keeping that in mind as we walk through what's on the right-hand side, your brand must-haves. So the first one, so extremely important. What is your specific target audience? What is their name? And so for those of you who I did get to meet with during Alt, know that we went beyond demographics. So the most common answer when I ask someone, who's your specific target audience, is my audience are women, they're mom entrepreneurs, or they're moms age 25 to 35. They want to build a creative business on the side while they work full-time and raise kids, for example. That's great. Those are demographics, which is cool, but we want to move into psychographics. So what are they thinking? What's in their head? So in addition to everything I just said about the mom, 25 to 35, what is she thinking about? What does she lay up at night and think about. She's thinking about how to be the best mom she can, bring creativity and maybe some of those old-fashioned values into her kids' lives, and making sure that those don't get lost in this world of technology and iPads and cell phones and things like that. So that's one of her big priorities, but she also doesn't want to lose herself. And so she's trying to go back to her first loves as a child and as a kid, and being creative and coloring more and sewing more and doing more DIYs. So that's like a psychographic. That's getting deep into her head and knowing who she is and why she does what she does, why she thinks about the things she thinks about. So make sure, if you don't have that zoned in specific target audience, start to think about that person even more and get down to someone very specific. If you do some research on writing a book and or talk to anybody, the best books out there are ones that are written for a single person. So if as you're writing a book and you think, gosh, I have a best friend and her name is Emily and she is the exact target I'm writing for, and you keep that person in your mind as you're writing. This goes for blogging, this goes for website copy, it goes for any sort of brand messaging. Then you'll speak directly to that person, you'll capture that audience, and those people will love you. We'll talk about that more later on in the sheet. Moving on to the next one. Tagline, blurb, or saying. So literally what I did in the audit is I pulled up people's websites and we went through this checklist to make sure that me as an outsider can glance at your site and see that you have these elements, these must-haves. So a tagline, blurb, or saying, in its essence, this one sentence or somewhat of a sentence should be able to tell somebody what you do for who. So I know that in taglines, and I worked in advertising for many, many years, and we would come up with these taglines that are super, super short, like here's one example. An example would be, create the life you love. If that sounds familiar, it's because Marie Forleo, if you guys haven't heard of her, but she uses something similar. Oprah uses something similar, and a lot of other people. And while that may be the ultimate goal for a lot of us out there, is to help other people create the life they love, I know for a lot of us bloggers, that is our purpose. We have to extend that or add another layer to that to make it unique so that we can own it. How do we do that? Who do we do it for? Because that is just extremely vague and could apply to anyone. If we took the subset, or if we took all of the bloggers at all, and we applied this tagline, create the life you love, that literally could apply to probably 90% of us. So how do you add some more words or language or layers on there to make it unique about who you are, what you do, and what you offer? All right. The next one here is your unique thing. What is your thing? Do you have, is it a saying? Is it a part of your personality? Is it an object? I know that a lot of us are into the flamingo. There's kind of a flamingo phase for a while there, and pineapples and donuts and gosh, so many different things. I know for a long time and still going on. I love the marble. Marble is really hot right now, just from a visual aesthetic. But do you have a thing that's yours? Do you have something that you can kind of weave into your brand messaging, your visuals, your the way you deliver the content that you have? For me, mine is a disco ball, and there's lots of reasons for that. I love to dance. When I turned 33, I bought my first big disco ball and threw an 80s prom for my birthday, and I've been collecting disco balls ever since. I also started throwing dance parties with me and my kids when they were younger, and that's kind of become a tradition for us. So I try to sort of infuse those into different elements of my brand. So come up with something that's uniquely yours. Again, it doesn't have to be an object, but just to start setting yourself apart and kind of resist the urge to follow along in the current trends, unless it is you. If you find that the trend of pineapples, let's say, is really, really you, then go for it. If not, then don't resist the urge to kind of tag along. The next one is consistency, online and offline. And this is something that is extremely important. I always say if you were to meet someone at a networking event, at Alt Summit, let's say, and they're so outgoing and warm and friendly and put together and just the cutest outfit and just eyes are, glowing. They're so excited and passionate for the work they do and the people that they reach. And then you go to their website and it's a gray, dull, boring image of them, a brand of them. Then there's a disconnect. And so then you start to wonder, does the person I met in person, is that the real brand? Is that the real person? Or is the person online, is that the real person? Anytime you have a disconnect from your online presence to your offline presence, you lose credibility. So the best compliment that people have given me, and I know people have given some of you guys, and that I have even meeting people at Alt, is like, wow, you are exactly like I thought you would be. Or when I finally get to meet these amazing bloggers and women that I follow online in person, I can say you are exactly who you are online. And that is a huge testament to branding, to consistency, and that keeps your reputation strong. The second to the last one is, what is your aspiring brand or blog? Do you have a big sister that you look up to? This is really important for us to aspire to reach for something. This is not about copycatting, and this is not about being someone we're not. It's literally just about really looking up to somebody and being motivated by their growth, by their struggles, even by their experience. So I have a couple, I say brand crushes, or a couple people that I aspire to. The first one for my brand is Janelle Monáe. If you haven't heard of her, she's a singer, but she's also in that movie that recently came out, Hidden Figures. And I love her because her brand and the way she presents herself is so authentic, but it's classic, very sexy, very, and yet simple. She dresses in a lot of red and white, black, red lipstick. So I kind of see myself, my brand in her brand, and can aspire to that. There's another woman by the name of Amanda Miller Littlejohn. She is, I think, in DC. She is also a brand strategist and has just done some amazing things. And I look up to her a lot and see how she's doing things, how she's promoting her brand, how she's going about what she's doing. Again, not to copycat and to be her, but to learn from her. The last one, if you guys have heard of Hillary I can't even talk. Hillary Rutherford. She is Dean Street Society. Look her up on Instagram. She's a personal stylist, but also does brand mentoring and does a ton of Instagram training. I love her because, one, she loves to dance, and I do too. I need to incorporate more dance parties into to my online presence, take my offline parties online. But she's just so fun and funny and cute, and I can just imagine who she would be in real life. And so I aspire to her. It seems like she has a personal photographer that follows her around everywhere she goes. The quality of the videos and the photography that she produces on her blog is amazing. And so I strive and I reach for that type of quality. One other thing for you guys to note too, it's kind of along the same topic, is again, not to copy someone else, but to strive to reach certain heights. An example in an article that is so amazingly well written is, and I will look it up for you guys, but it is why you do not want Marie Forleo's website. So Marie Forleo is very, very well known. She's leads B School for a lot of entrepreneurs. And there's an article that says, it's from a graphic designer and web designer, and she said that she has clients come up to her, and I've had this too, actually. I've had a couple clients come up to me and say, I want a website like Marie Forleo's, or I am really drawn to her website, I want something like that. This entire article talks about why you do not want Marie Forleo's website, because you are not Marie Forleo. Amen. You are not her, you are you, and you are different. And so to say, I want a website that captivates a particular target audience and communicates emotional benefits and expresses passion and emotion like Marie Forleo's website, great. But you do not want her website because you are not her. I love it. I love it. I'm gonna make sure you guys have that link. The last one on here is a brand positioning statement with differentiating benefits. So what I said in my audits is I said, let's go through this statement real fast. But when I work with clients and when I worked with big brands way back in the day, we would spend months massaging and working through this statement to get it perfect. So don't feel like you can get it where it needs to be in a couple of minutes. Feel free to massage and sit with it and sleep on it and look at it again. But once you get the statement where you want it to be, it becomes your guiding post. It's almost like your compass for your entire brand, or the Bible for your entire brand. So I'm going to walk you guys through what this brand statement looks like. And again, when I was at a brand agency, advertising agency, for almost 14 years or so, we would use this for clients like Pepsi, Starbucks, Frito-Lay and Lay's potato chips was one of my first clients, and we would use this to set them apart. So how do I talk about potato chips that sets Lay's apart from all the other brands of potato chips out there? So a very simplified version, but I am going to talk about Coca-Cola because they have a very specific brand personality and brand emotion that this statement is really easy to use as a template. So follow along with me. And then the blank is a specific target audience. So we talked about that at the very top of our brand must-haves. Who's your specific target audience? What's their name? So Coca-Cola, I'm going to throw in for millennials who value connection. This is kind of who they target. Blank, this is the brand or blog. So I would put Olivia Omega. You would put your name, and then we have Coca-Cola and then frame of reference. This, you want to come up with something that is somewhat of a no-brainer. So when I think of a frame of reference, I automatically understand who you're likened unto or what you do. So we don't want to get too fancy here. We want it to kind of be a no-brainer. So for Coca-Cola is the only caffeinated and carbonated beverage, so we get it. That's very, very straightforward and easy. For me, I would put Olivia Omega is the branding coach and strategist. It's very straightforward. We don't want to get too woo-woo and foo-foo with our language here because we want people to understand it. That, we fill in the blank, this is the emotional gain, unique promise, or differentiating benefit. So think about, what will people gain from an emotional level from reading your blog or experiencing your brand or taking your class or buying your product? So going back to that mom we talked about earlier, the mom who is wanting to, that emotional element of her, the psychographic versus the demographic, she wants to bring in old-fashioned elements and skills and just the fun and joy of crafting and playing and singing and sewing and the DIYs to her kids in a world filled with technology where it is very much lost. And she wants to connect back to her childhood where she did those things and had joy in that. Okay, so your blog when we talk about what's the emotional gain, unique promise, and differentiating benefit, could be that your blog offers a bank of easy and approachable crafts that she can do with her kids on a budget. Okay, so think about that. If you're able to provide her with a bank of DIYs that are easy and approachable that she could do with her kids on a budget, what does that do for her on an emotional level? It makes her feel like a good mom. It makes her feel like she's bringing and keeping these hands-on homemade elements to her kids in this world of technology, and it connects her back to her roots. So those are those emotional benefits, that unique promise and the differentiating benefit that you're bringing for your specific target audience. Okay, when we start to come up with what that differentiating benefit is, very specifically, we tie it to emotion, that allows you to stand out among all of the other DIY bloggers out there. Okay, if you are specific about your target audience and what you provide from that to them for an emotional benefit, and all the other bloggers are specific as well, then again, you start to eliminate a little bit of that competition. Okay, then so this is the reason to believe. Why do I believe that your blog, can provide this emotional benefit for me, connecting me back to my childhood, keeping my kids entertained, but in doing DIYs that has nothing to do with technology? How do I know that? Because and these are functional, so these are the facts, the nitty-gritties, right? The tangibles of your blog, because every Monday you post an easy DIY, and because you have guest bloggers, and because you actually do videos and tutorials on crafting with your own kids. You're a mom yourself. So these are all the reasons to believe that you can deliver on that emotional and unique promise that you said above. So it's a lot. And let me tell you, we work months. My clients and I, and in the past with these huge brands, work months to develop and massage the statement. So it might take a couple times to run through it. But just again, as an example, for Coca-Cola, to millennials who value connection, Coca-Cola is the only caffeinated, carbonated beverage that brings people together through shared positive experiences, because Coca-Cola crosses ethnic and economic barriers, promotes inclusivity, encourages sharing, and tastes great. So that's your quick example. I want to give a quick shout out to the Sparkle Bomb. If you guys met her, she's amazing, and one of the bloggers I had an opportunity to do a one-on-one with, and I bring her up specifically because she had a lot of these brand elements in place. She has a very, very, very unique line of jewelry and accessories, and I told her that I love what she does because there are women out there that will absolutely love her product, and there are tons of women out there that will absolutely hate her product because it is not them. And I say, way to go, attract and repel. So if you present yourself, and I know I'm speaking to a couple people out there, I'm sure, if you try to present yourself in a way that appeals to everyone, or that doesn't turn anyone off, I know I've done this before, trust me. I don't want to talk too much about this or do this or be to that because I don't want to turn people off. I don't want to necessarily focus just on women because I'm sure I could help men. Blah, on and on and on. We can keep going here. You become vanilla ice cream. Vanilla ice cream is yummy. It tastes great. If you like ice cream, you most likely will like vanilla ice cream. But the chances are of people absolutely falling head over heels for vanilla ice cream, adoring and loving and just like flipping out over vanilla ice cream, the chances of that are pretty low. The chances of people hating vanilla ice cream, loathing, just can't stand it, want to puke on vanilla ice cream, are fairly low. You end up with a target audience or with people out there that like you, which is great. A huge number of people that like you. But what you don't have is people who adore you. absolutely adore you and who would follow you to the ends of the earth, listen to anything you have to say, and buy whatever you have to sell. Okay, so the Sparkle Bomb is creating a product that people will absolutely either adore or hate. So this is the attract and repel model. The more you do that, the more you draw in your perfect target audience, the more you have people that will absolutely love you, will pay more for your products, will read more of your blog, will become those loyal followers versus the people who just like you and like vanilla. Hopefully that makes sense. So that is, in a nutshell, it's really not a nutshell. How long is this video? We are at half an hour. Oh my gosh. If you are still listening after half an hour, then you get some amazing prizes, including my book, Beautifully Branded. So if you guys scroll below, there's tons of goodies. I told you I had a virtual makeup bag for you, ready with tools and tips and resources to build your brand. So I am giving you guys my book, Beautifully Branded. You can download it on the link below. Another thing that is extremely important, especially for this time of year, as we are still technically in the new year and still within Q1, is my goals, intentions, and declarations toolkit. I've been putting this out there for 4 years now and filling it out myself every new year, and it gets me extremely clear on where I want to go, like we talked about earlier, that vision and brand strategy. It also helps me prioritize my social media platforms, what I'm going to spend my time on, how I'm going to do it, what I need to do to get there, and who do I need to be personally, who does Olivia need to be to help me get my business there. So download that as well, fill it out, and most importantly, I want to give you guys and offer you an opportunity to do a one-on-one consultation. The brand audits were so fast. We literally have 15 minutes per person to zoom through these worksheets, and didn't get to spend a lot of time with those ladies, but also all of you other ladies out there and gentlemen. So if you want to do and set up a free 45-minute consultation where we can go through these workshops and really just talk about your brand, where you want to go, and maybe what your top challenges are, then please fill out the quick form. Shoot me an email and let me know. We'll set something up right away. Thanks so much and have a great rest of your year. Bye.